Hi everyone, I am Mr. Jonathan Forbes. Today I will talk to you about management, but more precisely, my future job. So the outline of what I'm going to talk about is basically the management definition, my future job, what it is, the job description, including also the requirements, the task, and the salary. I'm also gonna relate everything to chapter 1 and chapter 5. I'm gonna do a brief conclusion and I'm gonna show you my works cited as well. So first of all, what is management? Well, basically, the basic definition is getting work done through others. Well, basically management, what it is that the manager will solve a problem. That's it. Every type of manager solves problem. You can be all types of manager. So that's what I'm going to talk about in the next slide. What type of manager do I want to be? Well, my future job, a project manager. Well, what is a project manager after all? What is project management? Well, here is a brief job description of what a project manager is and what he has to do. So the project manager is responsible for planning, executing, and evaluating projects according to predetermined timelines and budget. He also has to build and manage project teams, report to the project sponsor, and ensuring quality control throughout project life cycles. It's what basically he has to do. So to be clearer a little bit, because that was a little bit vague, basically his task of a project manager would be to manage project development from initiation to closure. So from start to end. So that's very important. The project manager does everything from the start to the end of the project. That's really important to know. Also, the manager needs to be accountable for the project sponsor. So he needs to be there and he needs to be reliable. Also, he has to resolve any issues and solve problems throughout project life cycles. Like I've told you earlier, what is management? Well, that's basically it. You need to resolve issues and solve the problems and find solutions. So that's the key thing in a manager job. And also he has to clearly communicate expectations to the team member and stakeholders. So that's very important as well. And he needs to develop tools and best practice for project management and execution. So the requirements and salary. Well, basically you need a university degree or college diploma. So you can also have an MBA if you want, but the basic thing is to have a bachelor's degree. Also, it's important to have 5-year work experience in the project, in the management world. So you need to understand the concepts. You need to be you need to have leadership. You need to be team oriented because project managers only work in team. You need to be a good communicator. And you need to solve problems in a very, very efficient way. So that's very important. And like any manager's job, you need to be a good communicator and a good problem solver. So That's very important, and obviously working team is always important. And the salary, it depends of your work experience, it depends of your years of education, but basically usually it's around $85,000. So that's a pretty good salary. So it's another thing to consider when you want to have a job, and this is one thing that caught my eye. I didn't know it would be so well paid. So to relate everything to the theory that we've seen in class, well, basically it's related to chapter 1, which is Introduction to Management, and it's related to the management function: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So what is planning? Well, it's determining organizational goal and a means for achieving them. What does that mean? Well, basically, the project manager plans everything. He plans what the company will do, the product, their services. So he needs to plan that. So he needs to choose the goal and find a strategy to achieve them. So that's very important. So that's one thing that a project manager does. Also, he organizes. He decides whether where the decisions will be made, who will do what job and task, and who will work for whom. So that's very important. He basically decides, you do this, you do that, and it's gonna go well. If he doesn't do that, the project won't go well, that's for sure. And also he needs to lead, so inspiring and motivating workers to work hard to achieve organizational goals. So that's basically, you need to be motivated and you need to be positive in order for your workers to be as positive as you are. If you're always mad at people, always criticizing, people won't work well. So that's a fact. Also, he does the controlling, which is monitoring progress towards, whoops, sorry, again, I don't know what's happening with my computer, but we're gonna work with that. So yeah, it's monitoring progress toward goal achievement and taking corrective action when needed. So controlling, basically the problem solving phase, and that's basically what the project manager does. For middle manager, well, that's basically where the project manager is situated. He's not a top manager since he's not a CEO and a CFO or anything. The middle manager is responsible for setting objective with the top management goal, and for planning and implementing subunit strategies for achieving those objectives. So that's basically what I've told you so far, what the project manager does. So it's just to situate you where he is in the company. And also he has interpersonal role, which means he's a figurehead, a leader, a liaison, things like that. And one thing that is really important in every manager's job, but most certainly in the project management area, is that the project managers need human skills. That's without a doubt one thing that is really important. So now to relate to chapter 5, sorry. So, well, basically planning, like I've told you earlier, the manager needs to plan. If he doesn't, nothing will go well. So it's like I told you, it's choosing your goal and finding strategies to make that goal happen. So how to make a plan that works? Well, basically you need to set your goals. So that's very important. The manager needs to set goals before starting. So that's what he does actually. Then you need to develop commitment to goals, and then develop effective action plans to that goal. So basically what this is saying is that you set your goal, you develop a team for that goal, you develop a plan, you plan for to achieve that goal, then you take you're tracking your progress. So we've done this that day and it worked well, and we've done that. So that's what you need to do. Then maintaining flexibility. So basically maintaining flexibility is that you just maintain what you're doing. If something goes well, you need to change that. But when something goes wrong, well, that's what you need to change. Also, decision making is the process of choosing a solution from available alternative. So that's one thing that a project manager does. And also brainstorming, which is very important before a project. And basically brainstorming, you sit around with your team and you just shout out ideas for the project, good or bad. It's not necessary to judge the other teammates. Every idea could be good, and if they're not that good, well, it might give another idea to someone else, which will help the process. So, in conclusion, I find that project management is a very interesting job, and fortunately it relates to the theory that we've seen in class so far. So now that I've seen what a project manager does, I can really relate and find what type of what theory could be very interesting for my future job. And basically that is my works cited, and thank you very much.